Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're getting hyper-local, focusing on something that I know is near and dear to a lot of your hearts,
Mhm.
your pets. So we've got a whole bunch of articles all about pet care, specifically here in Huntsville. Plus, we've got some extra information on all the amazing vet services that our city has to offer. So if you're new to Huntsville, or maybe you're a little worried about some of those Rocket City-specific pet challenges, or you just want to be the absolute best pet parent you can be, this episode is for you, so get ready to learn some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much location actually matters when it comes to pet care. It's not just about generic advice,
Yeah.
you got to understand the unique environment and all the challenges that come with it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I was reading about how Huntsville's climate, all those amazing outdoor spaces we have, even the awesome pet-friendly cafes around town, they all kind of play a part in how we need to care for our furry friends.
Exactly. Think about it. We've got Monte Sano, we've got the Botanical Garden, which is that beautiful 112-acre space downtown,
Mm.
and then tons of parks and trails. I mean, all incredible for us and for our pets, but they also expose our animals to things that a vet from, say, I don't know, Arizona might not even think about.
Okay, so what you're saying is a Huntsville vet has kind of like a home field advantage when it comes to knowing what our pets might run into.
Yeah, precisely. Ticks, parasites specific to our region, heat concerns, even just allergens that are more common here.
Yeah.
These are things that a Huntsville vet is going to be way more in tune to than a generic guidebook.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's say, hypothetically, I'm a new Huntsville resident with a dog who loves hiking. What are some of the things that I should be aware of?
Well, first off, you're in luck because we have amazing trails right in our backyard here. But with all that greenery comes the risk of ticks, and some of the species found on Monte Sano, for example, they can carry diseases that are kind of uncommon in other places. So talking to your vet about the right tick prevention is absolutely crucial.
Wow, I had no idea. I always thought ticks were just like a gross nuisance.
Yeah, they can be, but they can also transmit some pretty serious diseases. Lyme disease is one that a lot of people are familiar with, but there's also ehrlichiosis and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which can affect both dogs and humans.
Okay, that's getting a little scary. I'm starting to see why having a Huntsville vet in my corner is so important. What else should I be worried about?
Well, aside from ticks, our warm, humid climate makes heartworm prevention a year-round necessity. And it's not just about your dog's comfort, it's about preventing a potentially fatal disease.
Wait, year-round. I always thought heartworm was just like a summer thing.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. And it's why having that local vet expertise is so valuable. Mosquitoes which transmit heartworm can be active even during mild winters here in Alabama, so consistent prevention is really key.
All right, so we got tick prevention, heartworm meds. What about vaccines? Are those different in Huntsville too?
They can be. While the core vaccines like rabies and distemper are important everywhere, your Huntsville vet might recommend additional vaccines or boosters based on the specific risks in our area.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Well, leptospirosis is a bacterial disease, and it can be spread through contact with wildlife urine. It's more common in areas with a lot of wildlife.
Hmm.
And obviously, we've got plenty of that in and around Huntsville, so your vet might recommend a lepto booster, especially if your dog is a frequent hiker or swimmer.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed by all this information, but in a good way. Like it's like I'm suddenly seeing all these potential risks I never even considered before.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive. We want to empower you with the knowledge you need to keep your pets safe and healthy.
Exactly. So having a good relationship with a Huntsville vet isn't just about convenience. It's about having a true expert on your side, someone who understands the specific challenges we face here.
Yeah, you got it. They're not just treating your pet, they're treating your pet in the context of Huntsville. And that's a big difference. And that local expertise goes way beyond just vaccines and parasites. Think about all the things we love about Huntsville, the lush greenery, abundant wildlife. Those can also pose unique challenges for our pets.
Like what? Give me some examples. I'm all about prevention, especially after hearing all this.
Well, one thing the sources mentioned was the prevalence of certain plants. That can be toxic to pets, and we're not just talking about the obvious things like poison ivy, but more subtle culprits like sago palms, which are actually popular landscaping plants around here, but can be deadly if ingested by dogs.
Whoa, sago palms. I actually have one of those in my backyard. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a local vet would be on top of. They might even ask you specific questions about your landscaping during a checkup, just to assess potential risks.
So it's not just about what happens on the trails. It's about what's in our own yards, too.
Exactly. And speaking of yards, have you ever thought about the potential allergens that our pets might be exposed to here in Huntsville?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I get the sniffles in the spring,
Mm.
but I haven't really thought about it from my dog's perspective.
Well, just like humans, pets can suffer from allergies. And Huntsville's diverse plant life can be a trigger for some animals. Things like mold spores, pollen from certain trees and grasses, even dust mites. They can all cause itchy skin, watery eyes, even respiratory problems in our furry friends.
Oh, wow. So if my dog starts scratching like crazy, it might not just be fleas. It could be an allergy.
It very well could be. And that's where Huntsville Vet can really help. They can perform allergy testing to pinpoint the specific culprits and then recommend the best course of action, whether it's medication, environmental management, or even allergy shots.
Allergy shots for dogs. I didn't know that was a thing.
It is, and it's a testament to the advancements in veterinary medicine and the specialized care that's available right here in Huntsville.
I think people sometimes forget that vets are highly trained medical professionals. They're not just there for shots and checkups. They could really address some complex health issues.
Absolutely, they're constantly learning and staying up to date on the latest research and treatments.
Speaking of complex issues, one of the articles touched on something I found really fascinating. The range of specialties you can find among Huntsville vets.
Oh, absolutely. We have vets who specialize in everything from dentistry and dermatology to surgery and internal medicine. There's even a growing number of vets who focus on behavioral issues, which can be a huge help for pet owners struggling with anxiety, aggression, or other behavioral challenges.
It's like having a whole team of pet care specialists right here in Huntsville.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about our city. You don't have to travel far to find high-quality veterinary care for just about any issue your pet might face.
Yeah, but with all these specialists, how do you even know where to start? It can feel a bit overwhelming.
That's a fair point. I think a good first step is to establish a relationship with a general practitioner vet who you trust. They can then refer you to specialists if needed.
So building that relationship with a good GP is really the foundation of good pet care.
Exactly. And that relationship becomes even more important as our pets age.
Oh, that's right. We haven't talked much about senior pet care yet. And I'll admit, that's a topic that's starting to weigh on my mind a little bit. My dog is getting up there in years,
Mhm.
and I worry about things like arthritis and, well, just making sure he's comfortable as he gets older.
That's very understandable. And you're not alone. A lot of pet owners have similar concerns as their furry friends enter their golden years.
So what can we do to ensure our senior pets are getting the care they need?
Well, one of the key things that the sources emphasized is the importance of more frequent checkups for senior pets. Just like humans, as they age, they become more prone to certain health issues, and early detection is key.
So we're talking twice-a-year checkups, maybe even more.
It depends on the individual pet and their specific health needs. But yes, more frequent visits are generally recommended for senior animals.
And those visits aren't just about catching potential diseases right, it's also about managing existing conditions and ensuring their overall comfort.
Exactly. As pets age, their needs change. And those checkups allow your vet to assess their mobility, their cognitive function, their pain levels, and make adjustments to their care plan as needed.
One of the things I worry about is not being able to recognize if my dog is in pain. I mean, he can't tell me if his joints are aching or anything.
That's a common concern. And it brings up a really important point that the sources highlighted, the subtle signs of pain in senior pets.
Okay, tell me more about that. I need to be able to spot those signs.
Well, the thing is, pets often try to hide their pain. It's a survival instinct, so they might not yelp or cry out like we might. Instead, they might show more subtle changes in their behavior.
Like what? What kind of things should I be looking out for?
The sources mention things like difficulty getting up or down, limping or stiffness, especially after resting, decreased stamina, or reluctance to go for walks, changes in their sleeping habits, increased panting or restlessness, even changes in their eating habits or a loss of appetite.
Wow, some of those seem so subtle. I might have just dismissed them as getting old before.
And that's why it's so important to be attuned to those changes and to bring them up with your vet. What might seem like a minor behavioral quirk could actually be a sign of underlying pain or discomfort.
And the good news is, there are things vets can do to help manage that pain right.
Absolutely. There are medications, therapies, even dietary changes. That can make a world of difference for a senior pet who's struggling with pain.
It's about giving them the best possible quality of life, even as they age.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that those golden years can be truly golden, filled with love, comfort, and joy, even if they come with a few extra aches and pains. And it's not just about physical health either. The mental and emotional well-being of our senior pets is just as important.
Well, that's a really good point. We all know how important it is for older humans to stay mentally active and engaged. But I hadn't really thought about it in terms of my dog.
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider. Senior pets can experience cognitive decline just like people, and it can manifest in different ways. They might become more forgetful, disoriented, anxious. They might have changes in their sleep patterns, or start exhibiting these kind of repetitive behaviors.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Is there anything we can do to help them if they're experiencing those things?
Absolutely. There are a lot of things we can do to support our senior pets' cognitive health. The sources mention things like providing them with mental enrichment activities, like puzzle toys and interactive feeders,
Hmm.
maintaining a consistent routine to minimize anxiety, and even considering supplements that support brain health.
So it's not just about making them physically comfortable, it's about keeping their mind sharp, too. It's a holistic approach, really.
Exactly. And it's something that your vet can help you navigate. They can assess your pet's cognitive function, recommend appropriate activities and supplements, and work with you to create an environment that really supports their overall well-being.
It's amazing to think how much veterinary medicine has evolved. It's not just about treating diseases anymore, it's about preventive care, managing chronic conditions, and enhancing quality of life at every stage.
I couldn't agree more. And I think Huntsville is fortunate to have such a dedicated and diverse veterinary community. We have access to specialists, cutting-edge treatments, a wealth of knowledge right here in our city.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From the unique challenges of Huntsville's environment to the importance of building that strong relationship with a local vet, it's been eye-opening to say the least.
It really has. And I hope it's empowered our listeners to be more informed and proactive pet owners.
Me too. I know I'm walking away from this conversation feeling a lot more confident about navigating pet care in Huntsville,
Uh-huh.
especially as my dog enters his senior years.
And that's what it's all about, equipping ourselves with the knowledge and resources to give our pets the happiest, healthiest lives possible.
So to all the pet lovers out there, remember,
Hmm.
Huntsville is an incredible place to be a pet owner. But it does come with its own set of considerations.
Do your research, talk to your vet, and be proactive about your pet's health.
And above all, cherish every moment with your furry, scaly, or feathered friend. They enrich our lives in countless ways, and it's our responsibility to care for them with love, knowledge, and compassion.
Well said. Until next time, may your days be filled with tail wags, purrs, and all the joys that come with sharing your life with an animal companion.